This is the Bullseye Podcast.
That button is get oil. It keeps sticking on me. What's going on, everybody? This is Bullseye. We have a special show tonight. It's like all the other nights. We're just making up as we go along, everybody. There's still no sports going on, so what are you going to do? This is Bullseye and the Bullseye Network on the Bullseye Podcast, on the Bullseye frequency of your life. And we are back with another episode. Blowing it out.
Whoa.
We're blowing it
nice.
out.
I like the enthusiasm.
We're now on iHeart Media.
You're on all of them now, right?
We're now with
what are you on, like 20 of them?
We're now with Mark Simone and all the big shots.
All right. Well, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise.
Yes.
You're a big shot.
Yes, we'll see. Okay. I'm getting reviews.
I reviewed you. I gave you 5 stars. I gave you 5 stars.
There you go. No, so we're having fun doing it, and heaven knows there's no sports going on because I did try again to watch, and I will never watch it again. The basketball. It's just it's not good.
It's like preseason or something, right? It's not even like it's real basketball, right?
I'm going beyond all of the kneeling and all that other stuff. You know, I'm trying to look beyond it, but the game
what's so bad about it? What's so bad about it?
Watching a scrimmage. I mean, I remember in college watching the team scrimmage. It was no different. It's a scrimmage.
So what is it? They're just not as intense as a regular season game that we're used to?
You saw it. There's no fans. There's nobody jumping up and down. There's nobody heckling you. There's nothing to get jazzed up about. They got that bogus. They got that bogus sound effect of the crowd. Now, do the players hear that, or is that just the people at home?
I'm thinking the people at home. But I don't know. That'd be interesting to find that out. Someone should tell us. The announcer should tell us.
Well, if we can ever get another interview on this show, I can ask somebody. Hey,
I used to go to Nets games, and they would pump the crowd noise in because back in the '90s there was no crowd. So maybe it is at the game. Because I remember they would pump the noise in, and you would hear big noise with nobody clapping. You're like, "What's that?" You know, and it's pumping the noise in. So it's possible.
And the bad news for all of these leagues, baseball, especially basketball, the ratings are terrible. Terrible.
That's what I was wondering about. Are they that bad, really? Yeah.
Not even 1 million viewers.
Wow.
Not
What's
even
usually
1
like
million
20,
viewers.
right? It's usually 15,
I mean,
right?
basketball is back. It should be 15 million. You know, people chomping at the bit. No.
No. Wow. That's pretty bad.
I'm not excited about it. Dick Van Dyke.
No, of course. How can you be?
Let's go back to Dick Van Dyke.
Watch the old shows. Yeah, right. The Golden Girls, right? You know we're in trouble if I want to watch that again.
You watch the game, and then I watched a little bit of the Yankee game, and and unless Aaron Judge comes up, and it's a shame because the Yankees have a great team. They really have a great team.
They do. But, it's good for me in a way because my wife loves the Yankees and she's like into it, So she's happy, so that's good. And it's down in the background.
She's still watching that. Oh boy, that's
great. Yeah, she's like into it. It's like I said, we all know what it's like. And I said, how is it? She's like, oh yeah, it's great. It's just like the regular season. I'm like, oh, okay. Wow. That's what you think. Yeah.
Well, did you hear the news? Did you hear the news today of? One of my favorite personalities of all time, Mike Tyson, is going to be fighting Roy Jones Jr.
I know.
Isn't that great?
Roy Jones. Is there a weight mismatch? Isn't Tyson a heavyweight and Roy was like a middleweight, wasn't he, or a light heavyweight?
Yeah, I think he was a light heavyweight. Did he ever try to fight in the heavyweight division?
I don't know. He might have. Maybe he gained weight. Now maybe they're both the same.
Well,
now, is it a real fight or is it one of Roy Jones? Well, when did he fight? That was in the 90s, right? Early 90s when he was in his prime. Late 80s? What was that, 30 years ago?
Right.
He's got to be 55, I guess. I'll have my assistant look it up.
What's the assistant doing? So she should be on this already. Now,
she's getting to it.
I got my own computer here, but I'm an idiot. So it takes me a little bit of a long time. What am I looking for?
He's 51. Roy Jones Jr., 51.
Customato.
51. Well, what's Tyson?
51.
Like 54, right? Mike Tyson. Oh, the assistant got that too. They're about the same age, probably. He's 51. What's Tyson? Let's see. I'm guessing
53. He's 53.
54.
Now,
just turned 54.
Yeah, I remember the Mike Tyson career. It was a very exciting career. He wasn't champion for a long time, but he was the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. Remember that, right? You know that?
Well, what really got me going with him, I wasn't sure, because he's this new 21-year-old kid. He didn't wear the socks. He had that gladiator thing, no robe. And, I'm like, what's the deal with this dude? He's knocking everybody out. When he beat Michael Spinks, like, easy, and then he beat Larry Holmes, he knocked him out. I'm like, this guy's a real deal. Yeah, he's a real deal. That struck me. He was just running through everybody. Like, about 88, right? Late 80s, it was, like, indestructible.
Do you know his first 19 fights, he had 12 first-round knockouts? Is that unbelievable?
Yeah. It was amazing if they got out of the first round. He just went all out, like like those old-time gladiators, right? He just punched like crazy, like right from the start.
Not only did he come straight in, but his head was always moving, and I thought he was indestructible. I mean, if I ever saw a boxer that was indestructible, I didn't think Muhammad Ali was indestructible, because he could get caught off balance and all that stuff. But
right.
And when he lost to Buster Douglas, that was the biggest. I always say, when people say to me, "Can you believe it?" and I say, "Let me tell you something. The day I saw Mike Tyson lose to Buster Douglas, I said I'll never be shocked by anything again." How about that?
Okay, that's a statement. Because Tyson was so indestructible up to that point, and I forgot the guy's name. You just said it. What's his name? The guy,
Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas.
And Buster Douglas was this like overweight guy, right? That was kind of sluggish.
He wasn't overweight, but he just wasn't. He wasn't a.
He was like.
He wasn't a
he was
tomato
like pretty
can.
good, right?
No, he wasn't overweight. He just was.
He was pretty good. Pretty good, right?
Fighter, right. But Tyson was going through a lot at that time because he was getting a shaft by Robin Givens. Remember Robin Givens? Remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
They were on Barbara Walters, and she looks at him and goes, "Mike is bipolar. Mike is manic depressant."
You know what?
He's looking at her going, "I'm going to."
You don't take into consideration. You don't, right? He might have had an episode before the fight. He's depressed, and like you said, maybe something wasn't right, and you're going to lose if you're in that state of mind.
It definitely could take away from the intensity and the training. And then it was around that time he got rid of Kevin Rooney because he was his trainer all this time.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he get Don King? Was Don King in at that
then
point?
Don King came in, and everybody was accusing Don King of stealing from him, right? And taking his money and manipulating him, right? Probably did, right? I don't know. Does Don King look honest? I don't know. Made in America. Don King.
But when you saw Don King in the ring next to the boxer, you were thinking, uh-oh. How much is he going to rip this guy off? That's sort of what my mindset was.
Listen, you hate to judge a book by its cover, but that's a pretty bright cover, man. Don King.
Well, you know what? I mean, he must have made money for these boxers because they kept him around. He must have. I guess he was a great promoter, right?
Yeah,
so he got in the fight,
obviously
made
he
him
did
the money.
something right. I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure he just knew what he was doing, and when fighters really put their faith in people, they leave themselves open for that.
Well, what you had to do is, if you make the money, don't give it back. I'm sure he kind of like, okay, keep the money with me, and we'll keep rolling. I'm your manager. That's how you lose. I mean, if you make your payday, then you got to be like, okay, this is all mine. I mean, you got to have that attitude. And I think King kept those guys around, and he controlled all the money, and they got mesmerized by him. And I think that's when the fall.
Tyson was the first champion to have all three belts: the WBA, WBC, and the IBF.
Oh, okay. Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's some of the greats that he fought. James Quick Tillis. Remember him?
Oh yeah, I remember those fights. They were on HBO like in 1987. Right. I remember every one of those fights.
Remember the Marvis Frazier fight?
It was first or second round, right? It was early, maybe the first round. It was ugly. It was ugly. It was like he took him apart. Yeah.
And you know the story of Mitch Green, right? He was the Golden Gloves champion.
I remember. He had those long arms.
And they had a street fight. They had a street fight.
I think I remember it. Yeah, I remember it. yeah.
Those were the days,
He had
man.
the hair, right? Mitch had the hair, I think, right? You know, the hair? Long hair.
Right, he had
the look.
Soul Glow.
That
look,
long hair.
really. Jerry curl.
Yeah.
He had the Jerry curl.
That's right.
I call that.
And you got to remember, when Tyson was on the scene, he was like 21. And I was like, I couldn't believe how young he was. Like, I'm thinking, this guy's going to be good for like 20 years. I'm going to see this guy in my living room.
And well, just think about
if
he didn't get railroaded in Indianapolis for that rape charge. Just think about it. I mean, you know, I don't want to get into that, but that was kind of sketchy. Don't you think?
Now, what did that kill his career?
Well, it was 3 years gone in the slammer.
3 years gone, right? And then you're never the same after that.
Well, then he came back, and that's when he started his rebound, and that's when he met Holyfield, right? Those were great fights.
Yeah, but he was never the same, though. I mean, when he came back, it was like that wasn't the same guy. I mean, right? I mean, did you think he was indestructible when he came back?
No, but he still was still good.
It was tough, yeah. I mean, Evander, that was a good fight, actually, right up to like the 8th round when he bit his ear.
Yeah, we bit his ear, but Holyfield was he just.
He was a great fighter.
He was in great. That guy was in great condition.
He wasn't big either. You know, he was like a light heavyweight type of guy, like the lower heavyweight weight.
Right.
But he was in great shape. He was fun to watch. He was the real deal.
I think
he
Tyson,
was like those '70s guys.
I think Tyson could have beat Ali if they fought 3 times. I think Tyson would have beat him twice.
I think, yeah, like the 22-year-old Tyson before the.
Well, I'm talking about prime. Both, you know, when Ali fought Frazier, so whatever that age was, you know. But
I could. The one thing with Ali, he could take a punch back then in the prime. Like he was able to take the punch, you know. Right. So if he would have had it last 15. But I could see Tyson beating him too, though. I mean, I could see him, you know, connecting in there, and you know, I wouldn't be shocked, you know, if Ali went out. Yeah, you know.
Remember when Tyson?
That would be a great fight.
Remember when Tyson fought that guy Butterbean? Remember Butterbean?
Did he fight Butterbean? I remember. I like with the flag pants. Yeah,
right. No, he had the American flag trunks. Butterbean.
What do you knock him out like the first round?
Oh, you know? Butterbean. I'm looking to see. He
was the king of the 3 rounders, Butterbean, right? The king of the 3 rounders.
Right.
I remember that.
Here's some other names. Tony Tucker.
Remember that name? He liked kids. Tony Tucker. I remember the name. I don't remember him fighting.
And then, of course, he won the championship the first time the first time he beat. What the heck did he beat the first time? I know he won the second time he beat Frank Bruno.
Right.
The first time he beat, I can't remember. I wrote it down somewhere. Whatever. I'll look it up. What a show! I can't remember, and I can't see
boxing.
And
you know what? I don't even follow boxing now. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, who is the champion in boxing? We have no idea.
I mean, did I even have boxing now? I mean, with the pandemic, is there boxing? I guess there probably is.
I think the last champion I remember was Klitschko. That was it. How many years ago was that?
I don't even remember him. I don't even remember him.
Oh man!
You know, but they can't have boxing now because without a crowd, like okay, they're having baseball, basketball. Can you picture boxing with no crowd? What that would be like?
Yeah, it'll be like their training. It's exactly
like a training thing, right?
Yeah.
Even if you pump in the crowd noise, it just wouldn't work.
No. See, what they have to do is not only have the crowd noise, you have to have insults. You have to have recorded insults. Like, you're a stiff.
Have to pump that in.
Right.
Yeah, they have to have sound effect voices rolling in. Right.
You know, Tommy!
Maybe someone... Maybe someone throwing a tomato from the side just for effect.
I would like yell political things at these, these politically correct...
Oh, that would be funny, right? That would be funny.
Pingo!
Yeah, someone yelling that.
That would be great.
Someone should do that anyway, though. You know, like when we get back going next year. You know?
They wouldn't have the guts to do that.
Funny, man.
Here's a name, Tony Tubbs. That was another name. Tony.
Was he a big guy? He was big,
Tony
right?
Tubbs was a big name. Donovan Razor Ruddock. That's who he beat, I think. Wasn't that the?
Oh yeah. I saw. I saw Evander Holyfield in 1999 about when he fought the guy from England, Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis.
In the championship. I was at the Garden for that fight. Pretty good seats. You know, all the boxing guys were around me. I don't even know how I got the seats. This guy gave me that I was working with. That was exciting. I mean, that crowd was going crazy. You know, Holyfield won, but it was a heck of a fight. I mean, that thing. You know, every round was like, it was probably like what Ali Frazier was like. You had the Garden. You know.
Right.
You know, I don't even know if they have those kind of fights anymore. Like a real great heavyweight fight at the Garden. Of course, not now. But when's the last time that happened? That might have been the last time it happened, right?
Well, one of the greatest fights that I've seen, believe it or not, is Holyfield and George Foreman. That was a good fight. When Foreman tried to come back,
right.
Foreman got pounded.
Right.
He just stood there.
Yeah, right.
You remember a boxer named Ron Lyle? Remember a boxer named Ron Lyle?
Yeah, 1970. Yeah, he fought Ali back in the 70s. I remember.
Ron Lyle
he was tough. He was tough.
And he had a fight with. I'm trying to think of it. There was like 15 knockdownons in the fight. Who the heck did he fight?
Oh, was that Norton? Was that Norton?
No, it wasn't Norton. I'm going to look that one up.
Ken Norton?
It was Ron.
I remember all the knockdowns. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Those were the
Ron Lyle.
Ron Lyle, right. His name is Ron Lyle. Who the heck did he fight? All right,
Ron Lyle.
Where's the assistant? Assistant, Ron Lyle.
Fights,
Lyle. Ron. Come on.
Let's check out all his fights,
Ron
right? And
Lyle. He was good. He could hit. He could hit. Okay, so
Are you sure that wasn't?
It was on. It was like on ABC. You know, like on a Saturday afternoon fight. It was like like a 5 o'clock fight. I think it was on ABC.
I remember it.
Right, and Cosell did it.
I remember,
but it wasn't. It was Ron Lyle versus
Jimmy Young.
No, Jimmy Young. Actually, he was the sparring partner for Ali. Jimmy Young.
Right.
And he had some fights with Ali. He fought Foreman. He actually beat Foreman, Jimmy Young. It was like when the fight that Foreman, his last fight before he quit and then became born again, and then he took the 10 years off, he got pulverized by Jimmy Young. Look that up.
Oh, I got the fight. Now, I got the fight you're talking about.
Yeah, what was it?
I got the fight. Lyle versus Foreman.
Against George Foreman?
Foreman, yeah. I'm reading
there's
this
another one,
too.
Look, give me another one. Ron Lyle. I swear it's not George Foreman. Oh, my gosh. I just was like, I remember that fight so much. Ron Lyle.
Now, Ken Norton was involved in a fight that had all that going on, too. Let me have my assistant check out Norton. I mean, he had one of those, was that Norton against Larry Holmes? No.
Ron Lyle could punch. Where is Ron Lyle? Let's get him on the show. Is he alive? He died.
Let's see. He did die? Okay, that's too bad. Ken Norton's alive, right? I mean, these boxers, I don't know what kind of...
I think he's totally punchy. I think he's kind of...
Well, the saddest thing was
Ernie Shavers. Ernie Shavers.
Oh, there you go. Right.
He was another great fighter. Look it up. Shavers versus Lyle. Go on YouTube.
He was a power puncher, Shavers, right? I think he rocked Ali.
He fought Ali, Ernie Shavers, too. Here's a name.
Lyle.
Joe Bugner.
Oh, he fought Ali a couple times.
Right. Didn't he used to have like plaid shorts, Joe Bugner?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Joe Bugner, somewhere over there. The greatest fight ever, Lyle versus Shavers. Yeah,
I told you.
Yeah, you called it.
That was how many knockouts was that fight?
1975.
How many?
It was a September knockout. Let's see. I'm trying to read this here. It's like a long story. I mean, they got on YouTube to check it.
It was Ernie Shavers. Yep.
It was a lot. It was a lot of knockouts.
It was like
they don't
15
give the number
knockouts. It was like every 10 seconds there was a knockout, and they got up. It was one of the greatest fights ever.
I'm gonna watch this after we finish the show. I mean, that's pretty wild stuff. Now, I met Ali once, right? Actually, I met him twice. Once I was close to him on an autograph session.
Right.
Right next to Muhammad. he was doing magic tricks. I was, behind him on the stage, and then he just happened to pick that moment. I was with Nick, my buddy. I got a picture of it. I shoot it on Facebook once in a while. And he was right next to me doing magic tricks to the crowd, like putting the handkerchief out of the thing, making balls appear out of his hand. He was doing actual magic tricks. And, he wasn't as tall as you would think. I mean, he was, I'd say, like a 6'1", like he wasn't like 6'3", this real huge tall guy. He was pretty tall. And it was cool. And I got his autograph, and he wasn't talking too well, but he was understanding.
Did he charge you for the autograph?
Yeah, of course. I don't know what it was. It was probably $50 or $75.
I never seen Muhammad Ali represent a product. Like shaving cream, like Namath did, or Frazier.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You wonder why he didn't support a product like that.
He was handing things out, actually, at the autograph, and then one guy wanted two, and he actually put his hand down and then just put his finger out one. I remember that. One guy wanted two of them, and Ali was like, he put his hand on them and then look at the guy and put one finger of one.
What does that mean?
I'm like, wow,
you're only allowed one?
You only get one. Whatever that was he was handing out. I don't know. I really don't even know what it was, but it was something. And he said only one. One guy tried to get greedy and get two. You would think he would have let it go, but he was adamant about only one. I'm like,
hey, that's a story nobody else can tell.
Yeah, I was right there. I was right there with it, And Nick gave him an autograph, a picture of Ali and Elvis. Oh. And he says, remember this guy? And Elvis was like, and he kind of said in a lower voice, he goes, where'd you get this? You could barely make him out, So, okay, that's pretty cool. I caught some action in there, and I was right
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. And he looked charismatic. He had the look, I got to say. When you saw that face, right. He had some kind of look. I mean, he was about 50 years old then, so he still looked kind of okay. Physical, right. Arms were strong looking. And he had a look. I mean, you couldn't take your eyes off him. One of those kind of things, As you're waiting, you just kept looking at him.
I remember. How about this name? Ready? Oscar Bonavena.
Oh, that was my favorite fighter, man. When I was in 5th grade.
Really?
That guy was,
Oscar Bonavena was an Argentinian heavyweight.
Right.
Record of 58 wins, 9 losses, and a draw.
He fought Frazier. He could never beat the top guys. Ali put him down 3 times, right, for the knockout in the 15th, I think, and it was ugly. It was ugly, and I was rooting for Oscar too. And he looked so bad the way he went down too. It was like, oh shoot, And
that was Jimmy Ellis, think, right? Jimmy Ellis was Muhammad Ali's.
Jimmy Ellis, yeah.
Right? Jimmy Ellis, and then Jimmy Ellis fought Frazier. And Frazier won the championship, beat Jimmy Ellis, right? And because Ali was suspended, right? And so Ali tries to...
that's how he won it? Okay, and then Frazier's the champ, and Ali comes back.
Right.
Ali beats Quarry, he beats Bonavena on the comeback thing. And then him and Frazier face off, which I think was the greatest fight of all time, that first fight at the Garden.
At the Garden, 1971, right? I remember that.
Yeah, it was March 8th or something.
I listened to it on a transistor radio.
You did, okay. Now, do you remember how exciting living through that? How crazy
Absolutely.
big that fight was?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
It was a talk of high. It was a talk of school, and that's all they were
yeah. Both guys in their prime. Ali coming back. I rooted for Frazier during that.
How many
fight.
Sports Illustrated covers were from that fight? There was 5 classics, right? Remember, looking through the glass, right, in the training room, right? There was all different ones. And then the last one
on the telephone,
right? And the last one was Ali on his back with the tassels flying in the back. Remember?
Yeah, right. I mean, they had a great second and third fight, especially the Rumble, in the jungle. But nothing could beat that. They were both in their prime. I mean, by the time the Rumble, and they were both past the prime. So I mean that first fight was just great. It was a great fight too. I mean, that was great action right all the way through. Ali goes down and gets right back up, I mean, Frazier hit him with that left hook. It was whoa. And he gets right back up he was down for a count of a half,
Right.
Those
were the days.
That was the peak.
I wish I was older. Here's another guy that brings back memories for you, right? Roberto Duran, right? Yeah. Wasn't he one of your favorites?
Yeah. He was my favorite, Then he had the big, what's the word?
No Mas.
The no mas, yeah. That was it. When he did that, it was never the same. I mean, I like watching him all the way through after that because he had some great fights. Won the championship a few times, but that first Leonard fight reminded me of the first Ali Frazier fight. That was like one of those fights. The brawler against the guy that could dance. The young up and coming guy against this old pro. It had all that going for it, and it was a close fight. And Roberto just nipped him. I think Roberto legitimately won the fight, and they gave it to him. And that was the peak. I think that was the peak of. Leonard went on to fight better fights after that, but that was Duran's peak.
Right.
After that, I don't think he was quite.
Well, yeah, those days they had Tommy Hitman Hearns and Leonard and Duran and Marvin Hagler. There were some great fights.
Wilfred Benitez.
Wilfred Benitez. Now I don't know one person. Name one boxer today. Not one. Wait, have the intern look it up. Who's the world boxing champion? WBC champion.
Heavyweight. Should she just put in heavyweight champion?
Put the world heavyweight boxing champion. Who is that?
See what comes up. World.
Who is this? We know nothing.
Heavyweight boxing champion. Now, who would have thought? Like in 1975, I would never know who the world heavyweight champion was. Right. I mean, that's
right.
That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad.
Hey, what are the odds of getting Chuck Wepner on the show?
I know you got to call him up. I mean, he's available on FaceTime and stuff.
I got to get him. He's on there. He's looking for attention. Hey, come on this Bullseye show. We'll give you attention.
Wait, list of current.
Talk about stories nobody cares about. What?
Wait, world boxing champions. They didn't even. I guess. The heavyweight. Here we go. Ready?
Come on.
The heavyweight WBA champion
is
he's the super champion.
Yeah, super champion.
Anthony Joshua.
Huh?
Anthony Joshua.
What?
Yes. Anthony Joshua won the title on December 7th, 2019.
Who the hell is Anthony?
Yeah. The WBC champion. He's undefeated, actually. This guy is Tyson Fury.
I've heard that. I've heard of him. I've heard of him. I heard of Tyson.
From the UK. He's 30-0-1.
I've heard of him. Okay. That's good. I feel better.
And then they got an IBF champion. Oh, Anthony Joshua's the IBF, the WBO, and the ring champion. And Tyson Fury is the WBC. So. Well. And then they got cruiserweights and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't recognize any of these guys. Yeah,
it's never going to be the same with this, with all this, with crowds and everything else. And I'm sorry for what has happened to sports.
What do you think it's going to get better next year, or what do you think? Do you think by this time next year?
I don't know.
Yeah, it might be a full year at least. It might be a full year at least, right? Right?
Yes, but as long as there's old reruns of MeTV, I'm fine. I'll just let me know what's going on, and I'll flick through it, and let me know when everyone's back in and they say play ball again. I want to hear Robert Merrill. I got to hear Robert Merrill again, though.
When that date does come again, which it will. I mean, that's going to be some great times. That's going to be some. Yeah, me and you go. We'll have a celebration. We haven't done that since 19.
And I'll yell insults after old times. I'll yell at people. Hey, boom!
Can you imagine? How great that will be, though.
Should be fun.
I guess you take it for granted, right? We took it for granted.
Should be fun. By that time, we'll be big stars with this show because everyone's starting to listen and we're getting some traction.
Exactly.
So, we'll continue with this talk as the show continues. You know about the contract, right? You know about the contract, right? I can only go. I can't go 1 second.
30 minutes and 1 second. Okay,
so now I got to time the music perfectly.
You're getting close. Okay.
So I can end before 30. So that's the show. Thanks for joining us again. We be back next time we feel like doing it. And remember, this is Bullseye, and the best is yet to go.